go ahead, I have a chart for Apple, and I know plenty of you in the room have definitely traded Apple stock, whether it's trading options or gone ahead and traded the shares at some point or another. And so this will be a great chart to show you an example on, but then I want to move forward and show you more closely exactly how this software works and how we utilize this every single day. I mean, every single day, this is the approach I'm using for my trading. Now, I've gone ahead and I've typed in AAPL, the signal, and you see that we can actually go ahead and it'll quickly find whatever chart that we're looking for. But what I want to show you, and this is just the really interesting stuff, is we can go in and view those intermarkets that are going in and being weighed to generate essentially the forecast that VantagePoint provides. Now, remember I explained that, we're scanning huge amounts of data all over the markets, commodities, currencies, indexes, and identifying which of those relationships is important. And so these are the 25 to 30 related markets that are known to influence and drive shares of Apple. Now you see we have ETFs, different commodity ETFs, short and ultra short, the United States, like the SPY, the technology spider. You've got futures markets, crude oil, the dollar index, the Japanese yen, major indices, as well as interest rates, and individual shares, so other service companies, some basic material companies there. So guys, this is the analysis that simply an individual cannot perform. There's just far too much data, far too many important relationships there that every day if you had to sit down and figure out, how am I trading Apple today? Am I buying more shares today? Am I buying options? What am I doing? You just wouldn't have the time to perform that type of analysis, and that's why we really outsource that sort of work to technology. And so VantagePoint has refined this technology, and these are the 25 markets you can go in and view for any market you're trading, those most closely correlated markets that are affecting the shares that you're trading in. Now, you can see here also that we forecast for absolutely everything here, guys. We've got 12 different stock sectors just full of individual companies, but you also have the ETFs, so 6 major ETF groups. You got the U.S., commodity, currency. You have the Forex pairs, so there's about 20 plus currencies, whether that be the major pairs against the U.S. dollar, but also the cross pairs. So it really does a great job at analyzing those intermarket relationships there, as well as the futures market. So indices, crude oil, the grains market. So wherever you're trading, VantagePoint forecasts very, very accurately and consistently in those markets. But I want to go ahead and we'll look at the chart here for Apple, and I want to explain everything on the chart here so you really understand how simple and effective this really is, and how it's wildly different than what you've probably been doing, looking at recommendations or doing some regular charting analysis and things like that. Now, the black line on your screen that you see here, guys, and this is very important. Now, the black line on your screen, that is a regular moving average, simple moving average. So all it does is it takes the last 5, 10 close prices, averages all of those together, and then plots that line going forward. So that's a lagging indicator. It's always really just basing its information off of what's already occurred in the market. It's known information. Now, the blue line on your screen, though, that is VantagePoint's predicted moving average. So what that line is doing is predicting where the market is expected to move next. Now, this is very important because, what's happening is VantagePoint is analyzing all that data, all of those intermarket relationships, weighing all those positively and negatively correlated relationships, and then plotting that value. Now, if that blue line of that value falls below the black line, well, what it's telling you is that the trend direction, the prediction of where the market is expected to move directionally, is, in this example, predicted to go lower. And you see blue line crosses below the black line. That means the prediction going lower. That's what's going to help you understand that direction as far as, do I want to be long the market? Do I want to be short the market? But utilizing that tool, and you see that as long as that blue line stays below the black line, you want to remain in your position. So in this example, you see, since the point where the blue line crosses below the black line, market down about 15% or $16, almost $17 per share. So that is absolutely huge. You don't want to be holding a long position, but also, to capture $16 to the downside, even 1,000 shares or 100 shares, I mean, you're going to be able to make a significant amount of money here, trading in line with these forecasts. Now, that's just your moving average, or your predicted moving average, really honing in on the overall trend direction of the market. And we see that as the blue line crosses above the black line here, we've had a nice rally in Apple just over the last couple of weeks of trading here. And so, had you had the software, you would have seen that, okay, as the blue line crosses above the black line, that's indicating that there's been a change in the overall trend direction, and therefore an opportunity to go ahead and get involved with the market. And you see here, just over 9 trading days, the market's up about $7.50 a share. So, whether you trade the options, whether you're going out and buying the shares, just buying, 1,500 shares there, easily making several $1,000s. So that is your predicted moving average, and that's what's going to really hone in on your direction. What direction do I want to be trading the market, long or short? But I see I'm getting a couple more questions here, and I'm going to get to it here, asking about the green line here on the bottom of your screen. Now, how this works, and you look at the very bottom of your screen, you're going to see that we have a 1 right here and also a 0 at the very bottom of the screen here. Now, this indicator is called the predicted neural index. And again, this is weighing all of those intermarket relationships from all those correlated markets and inversely and positively correlated markets, and then giving you an output, essentially a forecast that's forecasting short-term strength or weakness in the market. So this is a very short-term forecast that we always want to use in line with, obviously, our predicted moving averages that are telling us what direction we may want to trade the market. Now, this indicator can only be a 1 or a 0. So it's either going to be yes or no, a bullish or bearish, right or wrong. But how this works is it's forecasting 2 days ahead. So again, just remember, short-term forecast from the software. And how we use this is it works as an excellent confirming tool. So whenever we get these opportunities where the crossovers just happen, right? The crossover moves to the downside. If we get confirmation from our neural index, wanting it, in this example, the downside also being down at a 0, that's that double confirmation. That's really VantagePoint forecasting. Look, in the short term and directionally, this market has changed, and therefore there's an opportunity. And you'll see that, once this crossover gets bullish, neural index up at a 1, and a really nice, clean, easy forecast that says, look, get into this market, but also neural index holds up at a 1, indicating strength, strength, strength over the next couple days going forward. So, that's in a nutshell right there how the software works. But what I want to do is, show you how this is going to work for you as a trader. So, not seeing the chart after everything's happened, but as you're going to use this day to day to help you make better trading decisions in the market. I have a chart here for Acadia Pharmaceuticals here, and I've gone ahead and we've gone all the way back a couple months here to March, but I wanted to go ahead and roll this forward so you guys can understand how you're going to interpret the forecast every single day as the market moves forward. Now, in Apple, we explained it. Very simple. We want to keep these things very simple, and when we have a tool that's working accurately, you don't need to have 5, 6, 7 indicators on your screen all doing the same thing. You've got two tools here that work extremely well at direction and helping you with your timing in the market. So here in Acadia, just like our last example, blue line over black line, very clear, and we see that the neural index firmly up at a 1. So let's roll this forward, and we'll see how things are going to change over time and how we can adjust our position. So blue line over black line. Another thing that we want to take advantage of is the separation between these lines. You get a lot of separation, suggests that there's a strong trend there that you're going to want to hold on to. When the blue line and black line pinch very close together, well, think about that. That's our predicted moving average, saying that there's not much difference between the actual moving average. So there's not, a strong trend in that example. But the further and further those lines separate, the stronger of a trend you're on. So we see here, as the blue line crosses above the black line, neural index up at a 1. But we see here we still have some separation, but neural index down at a 0. So some short-term weakness, but direction still up, right? Okay, so short-term weakness, we get a big pullback here in the market. This is critical for traders. A lot of you, more experienced guys know how this goes, but you get a 16.5% drawdown from essentially the peak of the market over 2 days. That can get you a little skittish. But if you have the tools that say, look, the overall direction of this market is still up. Your blue line's still, very healthy distance above the black line, saying, look, direction is still up. Look to be a buyer here in Acadia Pharmaceuticals. I'll go ahead and roll this forward a little bit more. Get a nice gap up, neural index up at a 1 in the short term, signaling short-term strength. So again, if you're a short-term trader, a day trader, you want to look for these opportunities where the trend is in your favor, but also your neural index over the next couple of days is signaling some strength in the market. So you see we get a little pullback. All right, neural index up at a 1. A lot of separation here between our blue and our black line. Let's go ahead and move this forward. A lot of separation. Neural index up at a 1, up at a 1. And look how the market continues higher every single day. So you get the neural index holding up at a 1 consistently. A lot of separation between your blue and your black line, and a strong rally from about 30 up to 34. It's about 10% in a short period of time. Here, a little bit of a decline in the market, but direction still forecasted higher. Market moves up to 35. Some short-term weakness coming in, but blue line still above your black line. Narrowing, narrowing, narrowing. And here we go. So now that our blue line has crossed below our black line, and you see that, this is about, let's see here, blue line, crossover to crossover. So since the forecast came through, VantagePoint was started forecasting the market to go higher. The market went up 68%, so $13 here. Literally, if you bought 1,000 shares, which is only what, $20,000 investment, about a $19, $20 stock, you made about $13,000. 300 or 400 shares, several $1,000s in a single trade over about 25 trading days. But now you say, okay, well now the software is telling me, look, cross over the downside, direction lower, and neural index down into 0. Well, what do you guys think is going to happen? Go ahead, type into the question box there. Where's this market headed over the next couple of days here? See a couple coming here down. You guys are picking it up. It's really not that complicated. But the point is that you have something that, is consistently accurate so that you can make better trading decisions each and every day. So I have a few here saying down. Okay, cross over the downside. Neural index, your short-term forecast, confirming that move lower, saying, look, you want to be short in the market. Again, the neural index pops up to a 1, but still very clearly blue line below your black line. Getting a significant decline here in the market until, okay, so here we go again, guys. Blue line crosses below the black line and then comes all the way back up and now says, all right, the trend's going to change direction. 15 trading days, the market moved down about 14%, another $4 per share. Definitely don't want to be sitting in the market long over that period of time. So remember, guys, if you trade options, let's say you buy the shares, you can hedge your downside with options. So there's a lot of things that you can do, but you got to know the overall direction, and then you have to have the good timing to know when you want to be heavier on that position, when you want to be pushing your winners, and then scaling out of the losers in the market. Cross over the upside. Let's go ahead, roll this forward, see where we're at. Blue line over black line, neural index up at a 1, and Acadia up again. So here we have, Acadia moving higher, 20% over 9 trading days. So, this is what it's all about, guys, is using an approach, using tools that are going to help you make better trading decisions and be more consistent in the markets that you trade. But you're not going to be able to do that by simply, looking at, Acadia Pharmaceuticals and looking at, maybe an ETF, or looking at other pharmaceutical companies, or just looking at the S&P 500, you want to make sure that not only do you understand the overall trend direction, but you understand when there may be some short-term strength or weakness in the market, so that you can prepare, to go ahead and take that larger position, or go ahead and be defensive with any sort of trade that you're taking. One thing that's very helpful that I really enjoy doing is, when you get these crossovers from the software, and mind you, I'm going to show you how you can actually set up a scanning feature that's going to, instead of, having to look through, different charts, so look at, 10 or 12, 15 different charts, it's going to scan through all of these markets and present you just a few of the opportunities in a given sector that you may want to trade. So as long as you can identify these crossovers, so the blue line crossing, identify your confirmation, that's really what you're going to need to help you identify these sorts of opportunities, but you're not going to have to sift through literally, hundreds and hundreds of charts to do this. But something I like to do is, when you have, a lot of diversification between, like, the pharmaceutical companies, the healthcare, but also have the ETFs, you can use some of these other markets for confirmation in really creative ways. So, if we know that, we have a very accurate forecast for the biotechnology spider, whenever we get these crossovers, for pharmaceutical companies and we're looking for trades, we can look for that confirmation in that matching ETF. And so, regardless of, if you're using the technology of VantagePoint, this is something that every trader should do just to understand that, hey, you want to make sure that all these things are trending in the same direction, or at least starting to move and support that trading decision. But here you have, a crossover from the upside here in Acadia, and you see what was happening in the biotech ETF here. You get your crossover, blue line holding above your black line over that whole time period, saying, look, had you taken any of these trades, go ahead and hold on to that position. Additionally, when we got this crossover to the downside, look at all this weakness in your neural index. So really early saying, look, short-term weakness throughout the ETF, and then from here on saying, look, this is going to start trending lower. And additionally, a lot of strength coming in with both the individual shares, but then also the ETF, giving you that confidence to go ahead, take the crossover, take your trade, and in this example, capture that really nice move higher of about 20%. So this is just a way how you can use confirming markets, even in the VantagePoint software. But what I can't stress enough is VantagePoint's really doing a lot of that heavy lifting for you, and because it's consistently forecasting accurately, you're not going to need to do all of this type of analysis of looking at all these different charts. That's what really the neural network and those artificial intelligence technology is doing for you. If we're looking at markets right now, this is really interesting. Jabil. And what I love too is also that it's going to help you with your direction. It's going to help you with the short-term forecasting to help you with your timing. But VantagePoint even gives you a predicted high and low level for each trading day. So imagine that you've got so many markets trading, different correlations slamming into each other, causing prices to move intraday up and down, and you really need to decide as a trader, hey, when do I want to get into this trend? But what prices should I be willing to accept? Well, this week we had a nice crossover, actually, last week, nice crossover here in Jabil. Neural index strongly up at a 1, but I'm going to bring up our predicted high and low levels. So look at this, guys. So you get your crossover from the software right here, telling you, look, you want to go ahead and get long Jabil, and you see how it's giving you this predicted range every single day. Here's the high and the low for actually today's trading, which is going on right now. But back here, once you had your crossover, saying, look, go ahead, start looking to get long. Look how accurate these predicted high and low levels are. Saying, look, you want to be a buyer back here around $17.15, $17.10 a share. The market dips to those areas, closes above, and then just absolutely rockets higher over a short period of time. So, this has been a great move, about 10%, $1 a share, and this is only a $17 stock. So easily you could buy 1,000 shares, made well over $10,000 here. On a quick move higher of about $1.87 a share, and this thing's still trading right now. So that's the type of moves that we're getting involved in, and it's because we're able to, one, identify when these trend changes happen, so when that opportunity is actually presenting itself, but then having the tools that are able to get our timing right and let us know that, look, as long as this neural index is up at a 1, as long as our trend is forecasted higher, we want to be a buyer on these days. You see, strong neural index up at a 1, strong trend forecast higher. It makes it very, very simple so that you can focus on what matters, getting those orders in, putting your stop losses in it, and trailing these nice trending markets. Last example here, and then I'm going to show you how you can scan for all this stuff. So literally spend 10, 15 minutes a night and able to trade any of these markets in the stocks that we forecast for. Again, same example here, whether you trade commodities, whether you trade Forex, here's Australian dollar, US dollar. Well, here's when the crossover happened, right? That's where it says, here's your opportunity, look to go ahead and get short. There's a direction change to the downside, neural index confirming that change, and bring up your predicted highs and lows. It doesn't get much better than this, guys. Telling you, look, short, the market trend is lower, try to short on any of these moves higher, but the direction obviously to the downside for the past couple of months here, and just tons and tons of opportunities, whether you're a shorter term day trader trading off those predicted highs and lows, or just going to go ahead and capture the whole trend as long as that blue line stays below the black line. And in the Forex, I mean, this is a market I started trading in, but this is phenomenal. I mean, 523 pip move, about $7 grand on a standard lot. So not a whole lot of money needed to go ahead and take that position and understand, really, know when to hold on to that position and capture that really nice move. So I mentioned that, we have a scanning feature in the software, and this is what really cuts down on so much of your analysis time here. So this is, I spend maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I trade the futures, I trade the Forex. So in the evening, it's about really 5-10 minutes looking at the futures and the Forex because, there's only about 60-70 markets. I scan through all those. And then I get up in the morning, have my coffee, go through the individual stocks. But again, within, 15-20 minutes, my orders are in, I'm ready to go for the day. And you don't really need to be there intraday. You already know exactly what your game plan is for the entirety of the trading day. So what we've included here in the software is actually an IntelliScan feature. And all you really need to do is you can go here, click on Portfolio, we can click on IntelliScan, and we can go ahead and sort for all of these conditions very, very quickly here. So if we want to look for medium-term crossovers, we can quickly set that to a 1. So we only want to see fresh crossovers from the software, right? We also want, the crossover to be to the upside, right? We're looking for long opportunities if that's the case. We want our neural index to go ahead and be matching that as well. And you see here that, opportunity right here, crossover to the upside, neural index up at a 1. We may want to go and look at different opportunities in the software that we may want to choose between a couple. But you can see that, out of 108 markets here in the healthcare sector that I open, we're already down to 4 that are representing good, fresh, new opportunities that we should go ahead and devote our attention to. And so, what's great about this too is you can set this up in whatever way works for you to really cut down on your analysis time. So if you want to split it up by sector, you can go ahead and save this portfolio. We could actually come in, rename the portfolio. I'll go ahead and put healthcare long because we have it set up to look for long positions. And then we can go ahead and right click, hit save. And next time we come back to this portfolio, it'll look exactly like this with our scan already set up, everything ready to go. So it's only going to take a minute and you'll be able to see, hey, look, where are the new opportunities? Where should I pay my attention to? And go ahead and get ready to trade for the next trading day.